Okay, guys, so it looks like I still got 7 gigs left on my phone, so I do not have to do this in 2 parts, it looks like. So anyways, you start this off, get the first filter. Can you see that in there? Get the first filter in there, and since it's the longest, I pushed it over to that side right there. Here comes the second filter. I'm putting that one over onto the other side. Kind of shake it around to get the line loose and straightened out in there. See how that is? And then this has got this little tab. I don't know why they were screwing around with that. But anyways, see that little notch right there? It has to go in there like that. So you can't really mess it up. There's a lot of extra line on here. I don't know why. But I'm assuming that it's not something that they did. So I'm just going to put that back in there and then we'll check it. So line it up in that little tab, push it and listen for the click. It's in. Nice and level. We're good. And then to take it out, that little slot right there is where you put your screwdriver in there. Bada boom, bada bing. Pretty cool, huh? And then make a note, in case once you put it in there, you're going to say, oh man, which one's the fuel pickup? There's actually 2 different size holes. There's the bigger one, and then that's going to be the fuel dump, the fuel return. So I'm going to put that back in there, and that's that. That's a breather right there. Whoops. That's a breather right there. You don't have to do anything to that. And then I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit with some gasoline, and then the final rinse is like carburetor spray and a paper towel. So now we got that. Okay, there was one other thing. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you how to access those, the nuts that actually secure the lower half of the, what do you call it, the crankcase. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, we're going to move. Okay guys, let's turn the torch on, see if that helps. Okay, right there in the dead center of your screen, right now, that T27 right there that has oil on it. You see that? Sometimes these cases they'll leak because they start to loosen up. It's still a T27, but you can't get access. You can reach this one, but you can't reach this one, you can't reach that one, and you can't reach the one on the bottom. So what I do, whoops, you can't reach the one on the bottom. So I will take this size drill bit. It's a 1/2 inch. It's a lot easier if you don't have the bottom chassis on. And you're just going to go over here and you're going to take and drill a hole. There's still enough, there's still enough of this receiver for the wire loom there and over here and over there and up here. So I'm going to take and I'll put a hole right over there, put a hole right over there, and then wherever that last one is, you can see it shining right back there. So that one right there, I'll take and I'll put a hole right there. So now I can go in there with a T27 and double check them. Okay? That's just me. I'm not telling you to do this, but sometimes taking that blower part off of the other side is near to impossible. And it's plastic, so you can't heat it in order to get the nut off the PTO shaft. So, all right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm showing you this, and I'm telling you, let me make this extra clear for you guys. This is what I do to my machines. Remember, I bought this one. This is the one that you wanted to see done. And there's no way I'm going to take, and especially when I see a bunch of oil all down in here, that I'm going to let this thing go back together without double checking these clamshell or the lower part of the crankcase bolts. And like I said, it is a big ordeal to take the blower off on these things. So anyways, there's that one right there. Here's this one. There's the other one. Let me get the torch on. See, pretty much in line with, like, there's this hole. Can I go right in there? You can look right in there. Wait a minute. Maybe you can. See, there's the other one right there. And then this one here, I just left it so you can look down. Look down and see. Where the heck? See, there's my T27 in there. Watch when I take it out. So I accessed that one too. So there's just 4 of them. That's what I do. I'm not telling you to do it, guys. Just, if you want to check it, it's an easy way to do it. So, okay, let's start putting this bad chicken back together. Okay, guys, we're going to put the gas tank back in. Still have the screws, so we know which ones, where they go. Remember, this is the big fat one, so that's going to be the new fuel line. This is what goes through the filters. This is going to be the new pickup. See, make sure. Sometimes I have to look in the camera to make sure. Okay, there's that. And then we need to take and put another line that's a little bit smaller, say for the fuel return. And that basically just has to go from here up to here in order to catch the primer, because the magic happens when the primer sucks it up. You'll see it when I do the part over here on the carburetor, that the gas goes up, it goes through the carburetor into the primer and then back down into the tank. So we got plenty of line right here. We're gonna take and stick this one on. These are all just new Tigons. We don't have the official Stihl black. So where is my special tool? I'm a little discombobulated after all the cleaning, you guys. Get my parts. This. Okay. Now I'm going to use my T27, wherever my silly handle went to. Kind of looking at the same time while I'm doing this. Hold on. Got it. I have these things, these wrenches, the ones with the 1/4-inch drive, because they hold all your bits. Nope. Okay. I'm going to lay this forward. Put the gas tank up in here. Get this one started. This one over here. I got allergies. Nothing serious, you guys. That's why I'm sound a little congested here. Okay. Okay, tank's back on. Still got it. We got our fuel lines over here. We'll cut this one as soon as we take and attach the carburetor. Let's see. I'm going to get my pieces lined up. Where is... Everything's not in order now because I did all that painting and stuff, remember? We got a new primer. We know by this, if you take in squish, if you put your finger over it, and see, listen, you can hear this. Hear that? So the short one is the sucking part. Hold on. Okay, guys. So this is the way that I normally do this. is this ignition coil goes to the outside of this piece, and we're all done with the valves and everything. I take it, I'll put this screw back in here, whatever, 2/3 of the way in, because when they go to put this little cover piece in, if you look down here at the bottom, I'll zoom in on for you. That orange, like the air cleaner box, it shares that space right there that you have to take and slide this back behind in there. If you can see right in here, that hole right there and this right there, this has to go in there too. It shares that space. So that like that, and then this goes on there like that. Let me get a screw. And then I'm gonna bust out on the carb. That's not the right screw right there. Remember, somebody else was in here. This sure looks like it. It's going into metal, so it's got a finer thread on it. So let's just check it first. Yeah, that's the one. So we'll take that out. I'm gonna put this piece up here. Make sure that we're gonna be good. And before we take and button everything up, I want to show you. I'm gonna show you right now how all this stuff is. I gotta relocate the camera because it's easy to get confused on this. Air cleaner box goes up here like this, okay? It just goes up there like that. Carburetor goes through here. That's the space for the carburetor. Here's where the primer goes, okay? So Stihl has gone, and on the back side of this might be a little confusing. They put these little grooves in here. This is for fuel line right there. That's the purge line to take and dump it back into the tank. See, I'm kind of stretching them. See right there? That's where the primer is going to go, right in that space. So we have enough hose to go right there. Then here is the fuel line that has to actually connect to the carburetor. And so we take and we'll route that up through here, and then there's a hole. Can you see that? See the hole where I'm pulling it through? That's fuel in. Okay. You just have to get all this stuff lined up before you take and actually button it up. And now, I think I'm zoomed all the way out. Here. I'm a sucky camera guy, but I'm just trying to be thorough for you guys. So now, in order to take and hook up the throttle, I need to take and put the blower piece back over here. Get this down underneath, okay? Where this, can you see? Hold on. I'll zoom it in just a little bit. Where this wire loom ends, you guys remember down underneath it here, where it ends, that's where this has got to go. That wire loom goes, I'm hoping you can kind of sort of see it. It goes in that little space. Then when the orange cover goes on, it holds it into position. So that goes like that. Here, I'm just gonna undo the camera so you can see. I got it laying down so it'll stay. So there is the wire loom back into position. See how the loom ends? That's pretty much like where I ended it. And then you connect it over there. So now when the cover goes on, that holds all that stuff into place. I hope that makes sense. So now that I have this up here, if it falls out, no big deal. I'm just going through all this stuff so you guys will understand. Now I'm back over here, and where we just did all the fuel lines and everything. Make sure that you can see. There's a third little groove, that one right there, that has that little slot in it. That is where, what do you call it? I gotta get this over here. I'm just doing this to show you guys, because I know I got it a little bit tangled. That's where the throttle cable goes. And once you have this stood up, hold on. Once you have this thing stood up, that piece fits. Hold on. All right, I'm just going to put it in and then move the camera. I would be done with this. Okay, no. Just kidding. See how it goes in there? That throttle cable has to be in that position right there. That's what it uses to pull against itself when you squeeze the trigger. So, like, if this is out or if it's not in the right spot, the throttle's not going to work. So that goes in there like that. We know how we already did all our other fuel lines and everything. Okay. So it's gonna look all nice and tidy like that. That's how Stihl wants it to look. You with me? Okay. So now I'm gonna take and pull the kill switch. It goes back up over here. You can see. I'm gonna move over here because I'm just routing everything so I can go and button this up. My hands are going to be so far in the way anyways. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see. So now, because we put the wire loom back in there, here is the, the kill switch. And like I said before, this one is bigger than this one. It's longer. It can only go one way. That goes on there like that. That goes on there like that, and then see the little indentation? It goes right in that little hole, that little slot. See it from the side. That little hole, that little slot right there will hold this wire out of the way. And then all this stuff gets, see, they really do a great job of, having you keep everything right out of the way. Okay. I'm going to run out of storage space on my phone. But you saw how I did all of this right here. I'm going to take and grab the carburetor, set it up here. I'll show you when I bolt it up. Okay. So I'm getting ready to button this thing up. And I'll show you the lines and everything. One thing I do want to make sure that you guys know that they use this same type deal on the little, what do you call them, top handle saws. They're like that little ring that belongs inside that intake boot. Make sure you don't lose that. That's got to go in there. So maybe like when you're taking it apart, if it's loose or falls out, you'll know what it is and where it goes. Or just try to put it someplace. Okay, so I know my hands are going to be in the way. Maybe I can try it from this, and then if you get some of it, you get some of it. Okay, throttle cable needs to be right up there like that. That's in position. That's in there. My fuel line. Any extra can sit on top of the tank. Okay, so there's my fuel lines. There's all that. The Don't fall, don't fall. The bottom part right here, right there, that part goes into the, what you call it? The big breather on the bottom here. So I'm gonna hook that up. Nope, I know you can't see, but you can't keep moving every one of them. So there's that. I got my gasket. There's one bolt. What the heck? Here's the other one. So I want to put my gasket on out here. I'm not worried about attaching the throttle yet, as long as it stays in position. Not worried about the fuel lines, as long as they all stay in position. You need to get up here. There's one. There's two. Normally I would be standing right exactly where the camera is. Okay, starting all these. That goes up on top. That's a little bit easier. I gotta connect that. Watch how I connect this barrel. I'm hoping you guys can see it. It's still where it needs to be. Push down on the throttle. Oops. Turn that. And it just drops in. See, now it's all connected. Okay, so that part's all okay. There's this. I need to get that primer hose over to the other side. Probably just gonna reach in there with some pinchers afterwards. Actually, you know what? This is gonna work out better. I'm gonna take the fuel line that goes to the carb. I'm taking it out of that hole. Okay, I'm gonna show you something here real quick. There's right here. You can see right there. Right there is where I need to make the connection for the fuel to come in. So I'm switching these guys around. Boom. There's that one. There's that one. So now the primer line is going through the hole all the way over to the other side. Now the fuel in is going to the inside track right here. Carburetor's right there. I know how much I need. I'm going to cut that bad chicken. Yikes! That was so close. So I'm going to cut it right there. I'm going to make the connection. Come on, Mr. Fuel Line. Okay. That's gas going in. That is lined up right there. I can still see the line over here. That little bit extra I'll be able to take and tuck inside. Now here's the one crazy piece that was still good. It's still pliable and everything, but this is the part that actually does, whoops, this is the part that actually does the sucking. You need to get down. This one right here. And what it is like, this one goes up and over the top and down, like down through the primer, blah, blah, blah. See how it has that crazy bend to it? So this carburetor gets pushed in where it belongs. This goes over to the primer. It's connected on the top right there. That's the sucker part. And then here it is down underneath for the primer. So if you're looking in there, you can see there's the black one. That's the sucking part of the primer. And the yellow one, that's the pushing part of the primer. Whoops. And I'm just going to button this up, you guys, because I feel like I'm just yakking too much. Go ahead, leave that in the comments. Yeah, you're yakking too much. You're yakking. This guy just likes to hear himself yak. All right, I'm getting this lined up. I'm gonna try to catch a thread on this. Come on, you little bugger. It's that piece on top that kind of give me a hard time. We can just catch a thread, which I did. Okay, now I can go back down onto here. I gotta get this piece back underneath. The one that shares that bolt, did you see that? Yeah, the one that shares that bolt right there. This on the top. This. Where's my finger? This on the top. Needs to go up and over there. That'll be secured when we take and tighten up. I'm going to back you all the way out. You're already backed out. So I can tighten this one. Guys, you know what? I made that look a lot more difficult than what it really is. It's just like I said, normally I'm standing over there where the camera was for all of that. So I'm just not used to it. It's a bit Greek to me. Okay. Carburetor's back on. There's that. This one, that's not the right one. That's for that's for plastic. Here's the one that goes into here. That's for metal, and that's holding all that. So we're pretty close. We got to put the always check your gap. That's got nothing. This is the way it came. Can you see that? There's zero gap in there. Presto, Changeo, Magico. There's 30 thousandths. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. That's not even the right size plug, for heaven's sakes. That's the one that came in with the kit. Gonna have to talk to Amazon. See the difference? They're totally different. So this is the one we're gonna use. I don't have a wire wheel like Bruce Pender. And put that plug in. Sometimes you get lucky, like when you get these aftermarket carbs, and they run right off the bat as soon as you put them in. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Anybody got a spark plug wrench I can borrow? I'm just kidding. Let's see. Where did I throw that, baby? Like, oh, that's the wrong one. we go. Pretty good. All right. Let's get that outside cover on it, and then we're going to give it a couple tugs. See what happens. Okay. Here's our new cover. Oh, man. This is the one that we just spray painted outside. Obviously, dull. Get this lined up. Gotta lean it forward. Make sure I can see where I'm going. Alright, everything down here is good. Make sure I'm not gonna pinch any fuel lines. I've done that before. There's that goes over there. There's that. Wire loom is still where it wants to be. Okay. Oh. You know what, guys? I'm gonna wait a couple minutes because the paint's coming off on here. I don't want to mess this up after I'm going through all that. Be back in a couple of minutes. So, I'm just holding the hose for the primer in the back there with those forceps or whatever we call it, hemostats. So I got my finger on there just to verify that the little short stubby one, that's the sucking part. So this one goes from the carburetor. I'm going to take and put that one on. Put the yellow one on for the big. That's the fuel return. The shorty goes in there. And click it into place. Done. Whoops. Done. There's a new primer. I don't hear that mousy squeak, but sometimes it is what it is. I want to look up top here. Let's put the torch on. Take you out of your cradle. Make sure everything looks good up here. You know what? I can't really see there. Where's my pointer? There is that right there. That's the fuel line that does the sucking. It's pretty easy to pinch that sometimes. So let's trust but verify. I'm going to take and put some fuel in here right now. And then let's see if we can't get that primer to fill up. Because we're going to be running this bad boy here in a minute. What do you think? Okay, guys, I just lost a whole section. So it is what it is. So when I kind of left off, we got gas coming through the primer. It's not very much. I don't know what's going on, but I did notice one thing, that the carburetor is not, it's not a Chinese knockoff like I had suspected. It's a Stihl that's been rebuilt. They just put a carburetor kit in it and then sold it that way with all the extras. So I guess it just kind of depends on whoever did it, if they did a good job. But anyways, I left all the badging and everything on here, guys. It just looks a little bit better than when we painted this. We got to get some more screws. We're going into metal. Need the fine thread. And when we took it apart, it had the wrong ones in there. I'm gonna find 2 more, and then we're gonna do a cold start together. See what happens. Maybe I'll get lucky and I won't have to take the carburetor apart and see what somebody else did or didn't do. So, all right, we'll be right back, guys. Okay, it's a crappy angle, but the sun is going down and I can't get the best light, so. There's that. I highly doubt if it's going to run perfect right off the bat. So, got my carburetor tool at the ready. If you see me making adjustments over here, that's on the low speed. Any adjustment over here is going to be on the high speed. So, just see. Oh, now it's picking up really good fuel. Okay, so now you're going to take it. We're going to choke it, pull it, make sure that these fit. Yep, they do. And let's see what happens. I got the filter in it. I just don't have the cover on it. Switch is on. There we go. I don't want to get it all dirty. After all that work, we don't want to get it dirty. Well, she's a runner. I know from, because I've used these things before, that the guys like to have them idle really, really low for like when they're actually making their piles. They're trying to bring their piles together and make them real small so somebody can come by with the debris shovel. So I'm just going to let it run a little bit. Not while you guys are watching, but and then I want to go over a couple of things, like everything that we did. Okay, that's it, you guys. We saved this bad chicken. So, what all did we do? You saw how to take off all the covers. You saw how to adjust the valves. You saw how the grommet and how the fuel lines go in the fuel tank. You saw, how all the lines and everything and the throttle goes for the carburetor, how to take this off. This is the part that I lost, the film that I lost was putting this back in, but basically you put a screwdriver right in here, pry it open, slide it in, and then put the screws tightened up again. So yeah, that's the $27 backpack blower, you guys. Like I said, that other one has got a problem with the crankcase. I might have to take and separate that crank and what do you call it? Put some new seals in there or something. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. 27 bucks and a carburetor. So 27, 37 for less than 50 bucks. We picked it up for 50 bucks just for the heck of it. And about 15 gigs of memory on our phone. Let's take and put this back over here. How's it look? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Give it a thumbs up. Thought it was pretty easy. Well, we spent a couple bucks on the paint and stuff too, right? So I guess that has to count for something. So it's already warm. Should start. Give it a little prime. There it is, guys. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Thanks a lot for subscribing. And we'll catch you on the next one. That's it. I'm done. I'm out.